All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Thursday Throwdown. My name is Dr. Fish. I'll be your op for this evening, but enough about me. We have our two wonderful casters. We have Heat Shock. Always good to have you. And we have Ufric, also of WashU, just as Heat Shock is.
Back once again.
Ooh, and we can forget.
I want to go out and say I'm so excited about this match today because Priest is my favorite class, and now we get two of them that aren't banned in this series. So
Awesome. Yeah. I'll let you guys go ahead and talk about the classes in the deck list. I'll just pull them up on screen and you guys go away on it. Deck lists are on the
right.
screen.
So I'll say I worked with Owl on his lineup a little bit. I gave him a recommended Priest, and he cut a lot of the removal for heavier stuff. And then it's a trademark Owl Control Warrior with a pretty standard Libram Paladin with a Lightbringer's Hammer teched in for aggro. The goal was to be more counter hunter, and I believe that's also what Itachi is kind of trying to do here, if you want to talk about that, Ufric.
Yeah, so I guess what we're seeing is sort of the different levels of countering Hunter, right? So Owl was going more into countering Hunter, and I guess you could call what Itachi was doing a sort of soft counter, right? So you have
Mm-hmm.
the Shaman, you have the Big Warrior, right? Those are sort of soft counters, right? That you don't have so many percentage points your way. Unfortunately for both players, there isn't really an aggro deck. So soft targeting, the aggro doesn't really matter here. And so actually, I guess to talk about how this matchup might go, I really like Itachi's decks because they seem to do, especially regarding like the priest mirror, they seem to do a lot more than just try and fight aggro.
I would agree that they're a little bit heavier. I think that the Shaman raises some questions for me in a target hunter lineup because the healing really isn't there to stabilize if the early game doesn't go your way.
Yes.
I mean, Canal Slugger's neat, but it's not Priest, Warrior, Demon Hunter levels of healing, or even the Paladin has Libram of Hope a little, or the Lightbringer's Hammer, stuff like that, City Tax. Um, with that being said, Quest Shaman definitely has a more balanced matchup spread, and it was banned for that reason. Um, and I think we'll see if Itachi's softer targeting allows him to get an edge here.
Yeah, I guess maybe we could classify this as countering hunter versus countering druid, right? You
Mm-hmm.
like shaman a lot more for countering the taunt druid, but as you said, you don't really have the healing to deal with hunter as well.
Yeah, I would still say Hunter's favorable, but Shaman is quite good into the Taunt Druid, and Paladin is really not, is more even. So I think that potentially Itachi was looking for Taunt Druids that have kind of vanished from this meta, so I don't know if I like that approach as much, but we'll see here if he can beat... He's definitely brought Al to his home turf here, because Al is very much comfortable with Control Warrior and these slower game plans, so we'll see if
Absolutely.
he can take him down.
And I know you alluded to it, talking about the quest shaman, but the quest shaman and paladin are banned, so we
Mhm.
could potentially have three mirror matches here of demon hunter versus demon hunter, and then warriors versus warrior and priest versus priest.
Right, and in this situation, the fellow Demon Hunter is clearly the weak link for both players because the Warrior matchup is going to be pretty much unwinnable, and Priest should have an edge there. Hal doesn't have a Mutinous to disrupt any combos, but oftentimes Demon Hunter has trouble putting 30 together,
Mhm.
and with a Moonfang potentially, even an Elec mount on it, it's going to be pretty tough for Demon Hunter to combo through that if it
Yeah.
Well,
happens.
even without the Moonfang, just the Elec mount itself is just destroying Jace's damage. Jace can't get hardly any damage out with that Elec mount. The chances of it are very low. Usually you're going to have like a 4-3 Elec on the back end stopping you from dealing 10 damage to face with your Demon Hunter attack.
Right, right. I think the Alec mount's definitely a huge problem, so Demon Hunter has to rely on a 30 damage burst to take that victory. which will be pretty tough, especially if there's any chip damage from cards like Jace. It's probably going to get healed back up with an APO or a light power. But it looks like we're going to get started in the game here pretty soon.
Yeah, I've told the players that they can go ahead, and for those who are watching, Itachi is going to be our first to spectate, and I will be on the top of the screen. Yeah, we'll see when they get started. We'll look for the eyeballs.
Any hot guesses on what the first match is going to be? Heat Shock.
I think it'll be Priest Mirror, actually, round 1.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm looking at maybe Itachi bringing the Demon Hunter, just trying to sneak that in there. And then from Owl, I will have to guess, yeah, the Priest. But I don't think a Priest Mirror. I don't think
All right,
anybody
well,
wants to
we'll see.
subject themselves to that for game 1. Really,
I
really
would love it.
depletes your energy for the
It looks like we
series.
got a Warrior Mirror instead. So the probably the other good class in these lineups for both players. Maybe potentially not wanting to play Priest right out the gate. Making sure you get that point if they want to open a Demon Hunter.
Yes, absolutely.
So Al here deciding to just take the 2 health over a card draw. The weapon probably doesn't matter a lot here. Mutinous, a great card against a deck that only plays big minions. That's pretty neat. We'll see if he wants to play the armor minion here or just take the hero power.
We see the armor minion come down. Obviously, it's kind of low impact because we know that there's removal, but you do want to play cards. You want to just stockpile a bunch of removal in hand, and what that can mean is getting all of the useless stuff out of your hand so that you only have important things. You don't want to be forced to play a card when you're at 9 cards and have it be something like just a weapon or something. Don't keep the hand clunky. Is I guess.
Importantly, we can see that the 2 most important cards for the slow warrior are in hand for Al. He got Rattlegore and the copy effect for it. Double Rattlegore is pretty brutal for warrior to get through. Potentially triple if there's a Rattlegore on the board, and your Kel'Thuzad kills 2 of them. You get 2 Rattlegores from that, so you can have triple gore.
I don't know if we'll see even just a copy Rattlegore. I think we might see depending on how fast Itachi can develop here, we might just see Kel'Thuzad to get a big troublemaker or something, right?
I don't think that's going to be good enough. I think you lose the game if you go for that line. I think it needs to get at least 1 gore.
You think? It's not like
see
Big
what this
Warrior
pulls.
will have an extra
Moarg.
So I mean, the Rattlegores are even, right? If you don't copy the Rattlegore, then each side has 1 Rattlegore. And really, Owl has the lead since we can see his Rattlegore, and Itachi's Rattlegore is just a chance of coming down.
Well, it could come out of this commencement here. We'll see what it pulls. It's a cowardly grunt, not what he was looking for here.
Not what you necessarily want to see. Eating a minion, that's going to be a pretty good eat right there.
Yeah, I think he's disappointed it wasn't a Rattlegore, but a pretty big win nonetheless. I don't know if there's is there the 4/4 in this big warrior deck for Itachi?
No, there can't.
There's not. So remaining cards, we have Rattlegore and 1 Moarg, and there's the Moarg. So this is guaranteed to pull a Rattlegore now from the Cowardly Grunt.
But we are preserving the Divine Shield. Honestly, it can be kind of annoying for a warrior to deal with that Divine Shield. Obviously, there's weapon, but the Owl could take an extra 6 damage. We do see the Rattlegore, so Owl has the lead on Rattlegores.
He does. If he finds a Barov, I think it's probably game over for Itachi. Risky to trade here. Are we not? We have to kill the 6/2 and get our own Rattlegore in play, I think, to have a chance.
Yeah.
So I would like to see a hit face with the 6/2, Maybe provoke and then Rancor. Kill it
So,
off.
so my concern is, we're just going for the big tempo play. So my concern is that doesn't really work out because we know that Owl is ahead on Rattlegores, right? So,
Mhm.
you just he can trade with his Rattlegore and like slowly whittle away. And as long as Owl has a couple control tools, such as a bulwark in hand, to sort of live a little longer, then Owl will be able to pick off Itachi's Rattlegore, even even without Headmaster Kel'Thuzad giving him an extra one.
This looks like
This
game over
is
to me.
insane. Oh my goodness, what an insane Kel'Thuzad provoke. Yes, it
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
recognizes that.
That's what
That is
happens.
that is GG. That is indeed GG.
And that's why we choose to play the Headmaster over Faceless Manipulator these days. Really, you can see the power there of getting multiple Rattlegores for 5 mana.
Yeah, I believe we were casting the Wash U team playing a Tespa match against Owl when we first saw Owl tech in that Headmaster Kel'Thuzad, and we were so confused as to how it could ever be better. But then a situation just like what you saw there happened, and we were enlightened as to how the Headmaster Kel'Thuzad is genius
Mhm.
in any control warrior.
And here we see the Priest coming out from Owl. Obviously, historically very strong against big warriors. His deck's not obviously super heavy on the late game, but any created by could be um, very powerful in Rattlegore stealing or silencing or other things.
So I'll point out, obviously there are a lot of tools for a warrior to deal with a Moonfang, but missing from Itachi's list is the coerces. So there are ways that uh, Owl can play a Moonfang and sort of try and play around it dying to a
A
Blade
Blade
Storm.
Storm, right?
Something to consider.
There
Unlikely
is Brawl
possible.
though, so if you're trying to play around Blade Storm, Brawl can work.
Just win the brawl. Easy
Sure,
peasy.
sure. Against all
Um,
odds, probably the pick here. Um,
that would be.
I don't know the Devouring Plague does anything. Not that against all odds is the best.
Honestly, I
Probably
was even
Hysteria would have been
considering
better.
the insight, but this
Yeah,
could
1 second.
go to fatigue, I suppose. I think Kargath is just the easy pick here. More fuel, more things to do.
Yeah,
Big
I
minion.
I agree with that. I think Kargath is a pretty good pick here. Heat Shock has stepped away for a moment, so I'll step in and cast while he's.
All right, sorry.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
Heat Shock is back. How do you feel about Kargath here?
Great, love it.
What is the pick?
Let's move on.
Yeah,
Best picking here.
I'm surprised at the time we were spent on this. Going for the aggressive line.
Interesting.
Itachi is saying that I would like more things to do. Maybe Itachi's looking for turn 6 coin commencement into another commencement. I don't really like that, seeing as how we have a Rattlegore in hand, but
Oh,
I'm
Raised
not
Dead, great pickup.
always raised dead.
Yeah. I mean, Shadow Form is fine, but I don't think we care. And if it was Control Warrior, I'd like Shadow Form potentially, but it's not.
We don't really have a second minion that we want dead for our raised dead yet, though.
Not right
Yeah.
now, but that doesn't mean we can't find one.
yeah, it doesn't change the pick there, but this raised dead maybe won't come down for a while. There's the Stonewall Anchorman getting the loot, poaching the loot, drawing the card. We do see
Okay.
raised dead for 1 minion. I completely was wrong when I said we won't see that raised dead come down for a while.
I think he wants to draw the card here. Is the reasoning? With this 1/1. I didn't want to draw the card, but
Ruin is good.
sure.
I
think he has Sethics, so he's thinking death. But okay, interesting. I don't like that pick.
I mean, Okay, so the idea there is Wave of Apathy plus Against All Odds to board clear, but it's Big Warrior, so Ruin was also just a board clear. So I'm a little confused
Mhm.
about that, but I understand why he picked that. I guess if you really want to clear the 3/3s, no, wait. Yeah, I guess if you really want to clear the 3/3s from the Troublemaker, as well as the rest of the board, then you can pick the Wave of Apathy there to board clear with Against All Odds.
I did like the death with Sethic potentially because it cycled it out. The Ruin didn't cycle itself if you find Sethic, but I don't. I do agree. I think the wave is a little silly because it's no value really in the long term.
Hmm
You're gonna find a board that you can use it on anyway,
hmm
and you have Soul Mirror if they're even attacks or something.
hmm Absolutely. So Itachi's kind of in an awkward spot here. 10 cards, not a whole lot to do. Reduces the health of Anchorman just playing out the Rancor. Doesn't feel great, but there wasn't a whole lot else to do. I guess could have considered playing a Shield Slam, but that spot removal is very useful for maybe getting rid of taunts that'll show up and allowing you to push face to try and kill the priest before they get out of hand.
Feels inappropriate to use Apotheosis on a 1/3 here.
Well, he knows that Itachi wants to coin a commencement, so can't just minefield it away. I guess would be the read. This also means that we are most likely to stick the minion for the Elk Mount, which we can now play.
True, you can play Alchemont on this. It's not bad.
This is probably one of the best times for Elk Mount because Itachi has been so aggressive that Itachi hasn't gained a whole lot of armor. So Shield Slam can't kill this. Like I said, no coerces. So honestly,
Bladestorm is really bad here as well with the 6/2.
Bladestorm is very bad here. So this is a surprisingly annoying Alec mount for Itachi.
A conundrum.
Maybe you have to use both Shield Slams.
That just feels too painful.
One in a minefield works as well, I guess. Okay.
You've seen a lot of cowardly grunts being pulled from the deck this game, or these past 2 games.
Well, see, now the 3/3s are going to just kill themselves attacking into this 6/8.
Well,
So
you
this
can
didn't
still
work
use
out
the
very
Hero
well.
Power Shield Slam and have 1 3/3 remaining. Unfortunately, I happen to really like
Oh,
Soulmare.
none of them died.
Oh. Okay, I really like Soulmare.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
I think you need to save it for the Rattlegore. It's important for that. I think you can heal
I think we
and
can
then
just
use
cover
Condemn and
silence.
Zarella and trade. It's okay to use Zarella here. This is why we saved the Apo though, because it would have been very good.
Personally, I'm a man who uses Soulmare here because there's so many silence in Priest now that
I would argue that this is a throw without anything in hand to deal with Rattlegore.
that's fair. Trading the 4/2 seems a little weird, but I guess the 1 and 4 to just absolutely miss that minion is devastating, so it makes sense. Bladestorm plus Sword and Board cleans this up.
Rattlegore might win the game here, right? We're kind of in the waiting room on that. Mage Scribe is potentially a silence. You could also play the Skeletal Dragon.
Yeah, I would probably pick the Mage Scribe, and then just throw out this Condemn. Oh, we could get a Moonfang off this, but we did not. But this does block a Rattlegore coming down, or at least deal with it slightly, taking away 1 tick off of the Rattlegore's attack.
I don't. Are we really killing the Rattlegore 9 times? We can.
Maybe.
It's just not what I wanted to do.
No, we'll just silence it with Scorpid right now. We'll just silence it with
Palm
Scorpid
reading.
palm reading right now. He's gonna get a Raised Dead to discover. Oh,
Alchemount's quite good. Can't play it right now, but you also pick.
Could have also picked Smite just because of going
This seems very bad.
face.
This was just not the line, right?
Not sure. I don't think you're killing big
I don't think we can
warrior
race
too
warrior
often.
here. I don't think that
Yeah, it
works.
seems a little odd. Maybe just trying to force the removal? I really don't know. I guess what we didn't talk about there was the potential to just pick Smite to cycle with the Sethic that is now in hand. On that discovery. I think you were joking, but Owl
No,
might
I think we can.
find the
We can kill
meme.
this enough. It's not
Yeah.
actually that bad.
And he's still he's going face still. I guess just absolutely disrespecting Itachi for not having any coerces in his big warrior. But sword and board means that he can take care of the poisonous. But Itachi elects not to. Okay. I'm a little curious about that.
Initiation is pretty good.
How do
It's
we
not going to
set up
be
for it?
working on the Rattlegore for a while. You could initiation the 8/8 here, but
Oh yeah,
no.
we have to condemn.
You have to do something with Zarella to make it happen, right?
No, we can
Which is-
condemn. No, we can condemn and do the initiations. We could have actually done that.
It's only 7.
Oh, I forgot. Initiation deals 4 damage. I was thinking 6 damage. Yeah, nobody plays that card, so honestly, I kind of forgot how much damage it does. Sorry about that. Yeah, I
You
mean,
just sword and board brawl. You're gonna lose the Rattlegore and probably an attack to face, but not much you can do there.
I've been surprised at the lack of attacks on minions that have happened here. Right, like this Rattlegore could easily be 2/2 less at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, elects to draw the card. Do we want to
Okay,
use this
and
Wretched Tutor?
I think it's initiation with the Sethic.
I like seeing the dragon first. I don't
Proto
mind
Drake,
either
sure,
way.
fine.
Not playing the Sethic. I guess not cycling the.
I would have liked to see against all odds there. I'm not sure what we're waiting for it on now.
Maybe to help deal. I mean, there are wand makers in the deck, so there's potential to get another wave of apathy, but also just maybe to clean up the other troublemakers 3/3s. I guess would be the idea. I like Rusteed Raider here just as taunt. Helps race. I guess you can use the broom to rush in the revived Rattlegore, but that's never going to be good because your revived Rattlegore is almost always going to be smaller than Owl's Rattlegore. So we'll have to see how that broom gets used. Mage Scribe comes down, and we get another Against All Odds and Shadow Form.
Maybe we could have played an against all odds. Can we do one of them now? I mean, we got 2 of them here.
I think we can play it. I think we can play it. Just I think Owl can just play really safe here and actually kill this Rattlegore bit by bit and be fine. But Owl continues to elect to go face.
Yeah.
We will most likely see the Monarch Forge Fiend. How do you feel about Broom to clean up that Mage Scribe?
Yeah, I think the broom is getting limited use at this point, so might as well. I think is where I'm at on that.
We can't possibly be trying to draw. No. I think that was worth it. That it was worth it to do that. So I'm glad to see the weapon
turn.
face.
We can't. We're not healing a minion, right? I think we want to do Zarella.
Oh, come on.
Oh, Psych Split.
Psych Split?
What knowledge do the stars
Oh.
provide?
What is the ordering on this?
Um,
Why did we even play this irrelevant? What did it do?
I
Okay.
forced
I don't know why
Itachi to
Itachi
concede.
conceded. I guess he probably wasn't going to win.
I mean, Itachi was most likely not going to win. The Rattlegore race was happening. We said that Priest couldn't really race the Warrior, but it turns out that that Priest can.
Well, I
Especially
think we
if
saw
your
that
goal is to race Warrior.
we saw that matchup was like an 85-15 or something, right? That's just
Yes.
what Big Warrior was for Priest. And I think Al misplayed like at least over half the turns, but it didn't matter.
Okay. Yeah.
I think like several turns were just wrong.
Well, I think we can argue back and forth about that Soul Mirror. And I agree with Owl that there's just so much generation that you can do that makes the Rattlegore irrelevant.
Sure, but we didn't. Then we didn't use the Sethic for anything. It kind of just was a hand filler all game, right?
Yeah, that was I think overvaluing the Sethic. I guess saving it for next game.
I think the tempo APO was also a problem because it could have healed a lot more than whatever it did.
So we are just seeing Big Warrior for 3 games in a row here. This is really
it's probably
good.
Going to get this one. If it doesn't get this one, I have some doubts about that deck, right?
I remember trying 2 ladder with Big Warrior. Even though I love the deck, it has some real problems there. But yeah, I think it can win this matchup. I think it can manage this one. Can potentially, I don't know. What are we looking for from Illidari studies here? I'm almost curious about maybe even
I don't
looking
think we
for
want to play anything
glide.
because we want to play the skull on turn 5. But
Well, I was thinking if we look for a glide
philosophy is
next turn.
great.
So if we held the Illidari studies and looked for a glide next turn, then potentially you could shuffle in whatever that rush minion was and the coin.
Right. No, I think that made a lot of sense.
So
that would have been good.
Those would have been great things to shuffle back into the Warrior's hand. Warrior doesn't have a whole lot of draw when you don't play minions, so I think a glide could have been devastating, and maybe Owl could have thought a little bit more about getting that glide for turn 4. Chaos Strike plus Hero Power means 3 damage to the Warrior's face. Oh no, Warrior doesn't have armor. It is game over, clearly.
Right, it's really, really hard to deal 30 with this particular build of Demon Hunter.
Absolutely.
It's going to be important that we hit Il'gynoth or something here off the skull.
I still personally liked hero powering there. In matchups like these as Warrior, I just love pressing the button every single turn I can. But that's just me, I guess.
Yeah. Free I-Beam could be impactful. We can also make it 12-12. That might be pretty good here. You can play Mag with Talented Fellscream, I guess, would be good.
The concern is Mag is never worth it because
you could also play the Thalnos Immolation Aura. It works too. Get a 12. I think you want the 12-12.
Yeah, but it's almost never worth it because of Bladestorm, is what I'm saying, right?
Well, maybe they don't have it, and you get to hit for 12, or it stops at coin commencement. That's pretty good too.
Ooh, true. I didn't think about that one. Yeah,
This is not my favorite line of the options we were given this turn, because it didn't do anything to the Warrior's health.
Yes, Warrior remains at 30. And here come the big threats that Demon Hunter hates to see so much.
It's always the 6-2. It's been the 6-2 every time, right?
Itachi's very good at finding these cowardly grunts. Notably, if we wanted to go for if we're saving the mag to clear big minions, it's kind of expensive for us to do so with that Immolation Aura gone.
Right. We played the 2 things that activated it, so I wasn't super happy about that. We still have the 1-3 Fell Scream, so we can do that.
I dare Owl to just rip the Fell Barrage. Owl, if you can hear me through the cosmos, I am daring you to play the Fell Barrage. It never goes wrong.
You can
It
actually
always
play the
pulls the
mag
other.
here if you pull out a Rattlegore or something. But Rattlegore,
Rattlegore
I
would
don't
probably
know.
just be GG. I mean, Jace just never gets a whole lot of damage out after Rattlegore, plus you're just being clocked.
So we're tempoing the mag here to make him not want to develop. But now I think he can brawl, right?
Brawl for the 50-50 on...
Okay, yeah, okay, this works too. Yeah, just this destroys your 6/2 and pulls out whatever's inside.
Mm-hmm. But now you could potentially take... Oh, actually, no, we're
was
just
pretty
going to
good.
play the Sword and Board and gain 12 armor this turn. Actually, you can hero power as well. Gain 14 armor.
Yeah, I mean you can play the Rancor even. That's the hardest one to use out of this hand.
I mean, the Rancor means that you... okay, yeah, I guess you're not getting the armor from Rancor. I still think there's potential for a Moarg to be sitting on a board, and then you can Rancor after that, so I would rather just use the Sword and Board.
Sure, I think that's fine.
So I think we should see Sword and Board and a hero power, the big green button, and then run this Kargath in so that Warrior will be at 42. We're not seeing that. We're seeing
This is a little silly.
commencement for the other Cowardly Grunt.
I think this is giving up 10 health.
Yes. Probably.
We got the Rattlegore, so that'll kill the Demon Hunter here eventually. If it was the Troublemaker, things could have gone pretty wrong.
What are the best ways for... So, Owl can do a Moarg plus the Arcanist and then just I-beam down that Kargath and then make sure that he gets the 12 damage. Now we do have to trade and not get the 12 damage, so the Warrior will remain at 30 health.
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Yeah, there's nothing that can save us. Okay, so the Warrior is still at 30 health and now has a pretty solid Rancor that can come down and gain armor.
If Itachi didn't play the Rancor last turn, I don't know that he plays it here. Is the thing.
No, I think it's... Yeah.
Okay, maybe he does.
You are wrong, Heat Shock.
I felt like it was better last turn, but
Okay.
because it gained 10.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is another one of those cases of the matchup being very polarized, and
I feel like we're not
maybe-
really caring about life totals enough in this matchup because we could have done more for both life. Like the Warriors' life total could have been 12 lower or 10 higher at 2 different points here.
yeah, there's a discrepancy of some 20 points that could have happened to the Warriors' health with different decisions in this game, which is interesting to think about.
I do want to point out, it seems like both players are not really roping at all.
Yeah,
Or even close to it.
I forgot that Hearthstone had a rope, personally.
Yeah, it's easy to forget.
We are just seeing...
Are we saving these for next turn? I guess so.
I guess... Yeah, because we're getting the extra...
We're getting the
they're
huge
getting
Jace.
upgraded. Yeah.
Something
then
like
they're
that,
getting
right?
upgraded. Right, so you get 1 more point of healing.
He's going for the 1 in 4 lethal.
Just go for the 1 in 4 lethal, why not?
Sure.
If it doesn't lethal, it clears the board
No.
easy.
Okay, it wasn't lethal. Funnily, this is not that far off for the Demon Hunter lethal.
Unfortunately... Well... Actually, I'm not good about Jace math, but... 8 plus 16...
How much is Jace's 5, so we can still play it.
We're still alive next turn, correct? Because we get so much healing and Jace... Yeah. Jace is clearing the Troublemaker. Hopefully.
It's a lot of
I'm
face
worried,
damage too here.
I'm
It's
worried that
happening.
the I-beams went into Rattlegore for no particular reason. So there's a chance that the Troublemaker lives, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Okay,
no,
no,
just
we hit it
both eye-
twice.
just both eye beams went into it. So okay, easy. Okay, that's some damage right there. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Il'gynoth is bottom 3, but I don't know how... Where actually I think is dead here, because there's no taunts that have been happening. I think Itachi died.
I mean, we do have Moarg here. So we cannot kill our
We can't
Moarg
kill it,
easily.
and if so, obviously Il'gynoth could be bottom 2. There's only a
Mhm.
1 in 3 to get it here, but
Mhm.
there's still the talented with the Fel Barrage, and if the minions
Yes.
aren't low enough, the Fel Barrage is going to hit face.
Yes,
just
so
throwing
that's
that
why
out there.
you provoke the Moarg to play around the Fel Barrage.
But now we can just face tank the Moarg, right?
Sure, but then you have the armor to
Or we can
hopefully
kill it.
live.
We can kill the Moarg with a spell.
I think the issue is now it's kind of hard for Itachi to kill Owl in time, right? We don't have the extra weapon, so we're just dealing with Radagor killing. Yeah. Because you can just play...
As long as we kill the 8-1, we're not dying.
Yeah,
so
you
you
can
have
just
another
play
turn.
the Immolation here
Sure.
and hit face. I mean, so we're looking at 5, 13, and then Itachi at least hero powers up to 15. 15 isn't hard to do, especially since you can still just play the Fel Barrage and have 2 more damage face. I think we could just do
I think
that.
it comes down to the top deck here. I think it's 18. We'll see what happens. No, that doesn't matter. You're never playing 2 Moargs because it's all your mana.
Not many cards left.
We may not even be playing any Moargs here. Serious
Not sure
point
about
of contention.
that. Yep.
Yeah, it's 18.
Okay.
I think it was more with the other... there are a lot of ways to do that. You could have done the other 1-3 as well, I think could have worked, and you could have done a double deal... Fell Screen Blast, double Fell Screen Blast instead of the Nork. But
so I think, as we saw there, the game was kind of decided by not getting, 14 more armor.
Oh, right. So if the 10-10 had swung into the minion and gained 10 armor, the
Yes.
warrior could have never died.
Even though Owl didn't capitalize by trying to get that 12 damage off, it didn't end up mattering.
No, right. If Owl had pushed the 12, then the 10...
Then Jace would have killed, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I told Owl that whenever he's ready, he can join the call. There he is.
There he is.
The fastest control matchups I've ever seen.
Yeah, you both guys were just slinging cards. It was Speedstone.
The rope never showed up.
It showed up a couple of times.
It showed up like turn 2 of the Priest game, because I was messaging my team telling them to watch the stream for game 1.
Yeah, and Inzi is in here.
Nice.
Yeah. Owl, he says that Owl is the love of his life.
I love you too, Inzi. Thank you.
So, I do want to talk about some stuff. I mean, the Warrior game was great, game 1. I liked what you did. We saw how powerful Headmaster is compared to Faceless in that one.
Yeah, I mean, my thinking was the cards I want in that matchup are Rattlegore, Kel'Thuzad, Mutinous, and Provoke, and I just happened to have all 4 of them on turn 10.
Yeah, that was nutty. I was saying, like, when I saw your opening hand, I'm like, wow, this is... I mean, you have Kel'Thuzad and Rattlegore. What else could you really need from Warrior? Because I think that's how you lose that one to the big Warriors if you don't find those, so...
Yeah, definitely.
Game 2, I was very upset with your Priest play, to be perfectly honest. But
yeah, I was.
I think the matchup's almost unlosable for Priest, so it was fine. How did you feel about your own lines with that? Like the early APO bothered me a little bit, and then I was bothered by the Soul Mirror before Rattlegore because it allowed the Rattlegore to become a problem for you.
Yeah, I think with the Soul Mirror, I sort of figured that I would hopefully find like another answer to Rattlegore by the time it came down, and then I didn't for a little while.
Right. I personally have a rule that, like, I would never play the Soul Mirror until I have the other answer in hand. I just think it's too important.
Yeah, I think
but you almost got to the point where you killed all the parts of the Rattlegore, which is really weird, right?
Yes. I don't know if it's that weird, but
I don't think that's usually how the matchup goes. You could have traded the Rattlegore a few times too, and you were pretty aggressive, I thought, with the Priest, which was interesting.
Well,
yeah, I mean, I think that's how I win that matchup. Is like I can play big minions better than the warrior can, so I just play my big minions and hit them.
I think you do everything better than the warrior can.
Yeah,
you can fatigue them better too, but sure.
So the deck with the Alec mounts, obviously you have a bit more stats on the board, so it is a bit more common for a Rattlegore just to be beat down. It's not Baron's meta anymore.
Because his deck wasn't running Coerce, and because I was beating him down, like there were some turns where I was fairly confident that if I just put an Alec mount on my minion, he couldn't kill it and attack me, so I just went face. Because it's like you have to brawl their Bladestorm and that kills your Rattlegore, so why should I trade?
Right. I think it was really awkward for Big Warrior without the Coerce or anything, and he had no armor to shield slam anything as well, so it was just super weird, and he killed his own Rattlegore like twice. So it worked out fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing is there was a really weird Zarilla that didn't do anything.
Yeah, I was like thinking about the turn, and for some reason I thought the Zarella did 4, and then I played it and I was like, wait a minute, that
only did
that was just not
yeah.
right.
Yeah. It didn't work out.
Yeah,
so the other, I mean, there's a lot of things. The other thing is, your card generation was pretty. You weren't really very aggressive with card generation. Like the 4/9 sat in hand for a while, and the Sethic didn't come down when you had stuff to do with it. Yeah, I did agree that the Renew needed to be on your face. I think that was good. But then
reading the Sethic for Renew, and then the turn I drew the Renew, I was like, oh, I can't play Sethic this turn because I was really hoping to hit a Soul Mirror. And then didn't end up hitting it, but
well, yeah. I think you needed to do it on your face for the Zarilla, but then we didn't do the Zarilla, so it was weird. You hit the copy though, which was really good.
Yes,
that did a lot, and and then your Apo. I think if you'd saved that early Apo, the Zarilla would have been a lot better later.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. I'm trying to remember. Did I have the Alec mount in hand when I played the Apo?
Yes.
Yeah, I think my thinking was that like he wants to. It was either coin commencement or coin grunt on the next turn, and also if I play Apo, deny card draw off of Axe. And it wasn't really doing much in my hand at the time, so I was just throwing it out there. But I definitely can see why I should have saved it.
I guess to rewind a little bit, Heatshock had some concerns with how you built the priest. Can you talk us through? You know, you're basically lacking removal. Can you talk us through what your, I guess, design philosophy was for cutting so much removal out of the priest?
Yeah, I mean, I know Heatshock and I discussed the list a bit. A lot of my thinking was just sort of the priest removal isn't particularly great, like as cards in your deck. The one I wish I'd put in there is Devouring Plague, but I feel like stuff like Condemn and Void Shard, and Hysteria, like if you're going after Hunter, they just aren't particularly good, because the newer Hunter builds tend to like make big minions early instead of making a whole bunch of 1 health minions. So Condemn seems a lot less good there.
Well, it's nutty on turn 5 is the thing. It's like when they usually on turn 5 they've got stuff to clear, so it does come into play on that. But I guess it's not as good turn 1 and 2 anymore.
Yeah, and like the discover pool for priest, there's a decent amount of like pretty good removal in there. So I was just sort of figuring that if I play a bunch of like 2 mana, if I play a bunch of Pandaren importers and Scorpids, they'll find me the stuff I need.
Absolutely. Well, I guess I would say, just congrats on the win. Really showed some flaws in Big Warrior's game plan. It did not have a good showing tonight, but you, sir, had a good showing tonight. So
Yeah, I
congrats
think
on
you
the
earned
win.
that one. I think the last game was so funky with the 10-10 coming out, and then I think there was a line where you could have killed the 10-10 and pushed 12, but then you played that skull instead, which maybe accelerated your clock. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look at it. It didn't seem good at the time to miss the 12.
Mhm. The Jace wasn't in hand.
I think
No,
yeah, I think
no,
either
Jace came from
no,
Skull.
Jace was from the first skull.
it was from
Jason. Oh yeah, that was first Skull. You're right.
yeah. So it was in hand, but the
No, I thought the
Furies were
second.
not.
I thought the second one drew
Notably,
it.
the Furies were not.
Right.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like I want to greed Jace a bit in that matchup because the warrior gains enough armor usually that you can't really just stall and then pure Il'gynoth OTK because they either gain enough armor, they put on enough pressure.
Right.
So usually what I found is that like if you play Jace, it'll buy you 2 or 3 turns and then also set you up to kill them if you draw your combo. And that's what ended up happening is I just play Jace, like hit him for 24 and set up Il'gynoth combo on the next turn, the turn after, while also clearing off threats. So I don't think I would have wanted to use Jace earlier, even if it meant pushing the 12, because like it would push more and clear more later.
Yeah, well, and then Itachi didn't. He had the option of running his 10-10 into gain 10, and he went for commencement instead. And obviously, the Rattlegore was very good to pull out that Rattlegore early, and it gave you a lot less time. But maybe that 10 health, he wouldn't have died at the end, right? So it would have given him. It would have required you to deal more damage than you did.
Like he wouldn't have died at the end, but then also there wouldn't have been a Rattlegore hitting me, and I think that makes things easier for me.
Yeah, I do wonder. Like he also didn't play that 8/8 earlier. The taunt, gain 8 armor. He could have gotten that down a little earlier. But I think it ended up being fine because in the end it didn't. He needed a bulwark or something, right? Was what he really needed at the end.
Mm-hmm.
If he gains that 10 armor, I'm not sure he can die because you were kind of out of damage there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily.
Was it?
I would need to look back, but there were lines with like Arcanist plus
The deal 4. It would have
Felbarrage.
been deal 8 with Fell Barrage. But you would have had to kill the Rattlegore so it goes back up. And you could have probably done that. You could have Fell Scream blasted his minions. I don't think he had an AoE, maybe. I'm not sure. You had to kill the Rattlegore so that your Fell Barrage would hit him to deal enough damage if he gains the 10.
Yeah. I would need to watch back the replay to see if it would have changed things, but I'm not sure.
Also, just note, I believe it actually would have been the 12 because the Sword and Board would have came out, and I think that sat in hand for the rest of the game. So it was.
Oh,
actually,
did it really?
Yeah, it was.
I think so.
12 plus the hero power, so 14. Because what? I think that was like right on 7 or 8 mana, right? So you also didn't fit in a hero power, so it's 14 and. Unless I'm misremembering, the exact damage at the end was like minus 13 health. So it would be the breakpoint, but obviously the game plays out differently.
My counterpoint is that, like, if you commencement there, I'm almost never able to push that 12 face, and I've also already played my Mag Therodon, so I don't have a good way of clearing your stuff. I probably would have also played Commencement instead of clearing there.
Right. Well, I think the issue for Itachi that game that I would go back and look on is having a more consistent vision of how you plan to win the match, right? Because he took the first line with the commencement to be proactive, but then he took a reactive line the following turn and did the the um the AoE, right? The he killed your Moarg in your 12-2, I believe, instead of playing a 6-8. And I think that was it was interesting, right? Because he could have developed more pressure.
Yeah, I don't know if you have to kill Moargs in that matchup, but I feel like you probably want to be killing Moargs, especially because I've played Skull. I have cards off of Skull I haven't played yet. The one thing I'm wondering is if it was right for me to philosophy Magtheridon, because I was considering it before I played it, and the philosophy
I don't think it
didn't end
mattered.
up doing anything.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. No, that would have been good. 2 Magtheridons would have been good because you didn't need the Moargs twice, right? Because you had a bunch of spell damage cards.
I pick philosophy and then immediately draw second Moarg before Skull. So it's like the philosophy is never doing anything there. So
yeah, because you can't play with a full cost Il'gynoth. You can't play 2 Moargs anyway in a turn, so it didn't help to have that. I think it would have been good to get a second 12-12. It might have been potentially game swinging if he didn't have. I think he had a Blade Storm that he never played, but it could have killed some minions and bought some time that way.
What would have been the activator? The other Arcanist plus the other ammo?
It would be other MO plus Fell Scream, or
Well, you wouldn't have wanted to use the Fell Scream because then you don't have burst at all, right?
I mean,
no, we had
we
had an extra Fell Scream at the end.
Oh,
yeah,
we did.
When
have
everything's
the
full
Scream?
cost,
Okay.
like I'm not sure.
Because both of the 1-mana spells drew 1/3s, so it was always going to be 1/3 Moarg Fell Scream for 18.
Mm.
Unless you want to use one of those pieces elsewhere for something, and I don't think you do.
Yeah,
because the 1/3s, if you use the Moargs work with the Fell Scream Il'gynoth, but they don't work with the face damage thing, the deal 2 twice. Those you need the 1/3s for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Big Warrior just has some issues currently, because I know like my team got
I would
swept
agree
on it in TESPA playoffs, and
Well, yeah, it's definitely worse than Control Warrior. I don't know what the appeal is, to be honest, most of the time.
It's more consistent against aggro than Control Warrior.
I don't think that's true. I would much rather be Control against Token or Face Hunter.
I know like Stats said that it was better against Token Druid, and it's definitely better against like Warlock and Demon Hunter.
Okay,
I would say.
yeah, Warlock I see.
Yeah, I guess I can understand Token Druid as well, because like there are some games where a Token Druid can almost gas you out. Because like if Token Druid gets 2 really good compostings, then they can just have more threats than you have removal.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
And too quick.
yeah, there are decks where you kind of have to like clock them.
Yeah, you have to
instead
do
of
something.
Just clearing everything.
Yeah.
And it's better in those. I just think it has the issue of like being very, very predictable.
I also think that Control Warrior lists are super unrefined that you see on Ladder. I don't know if you agree with this or not, but it seems like most of them have too many bad cards in them, or they're stuck in like Barons or something.
Yes. Yeah, I think at least in Baron's meta, like Control Warrior stats were inaccurate just because I am better than 95% of Control Warrior players on Ladder. And it's like people just don't play the deck well, don't know how to build it, or just like either copying decks or running super bad cards in their deck. It's like, yeah, Control Warrior, most people don't know how to play it.
Oh, I remember getting Owl Control Warrior lists in Baron's meta. That was always good.
I keep seeing the add 3 warrior cards to your hand in that deck. The 3 mana thing.
Bad.
Ugh, that sounds terrible. But
just run Cthulhu.
Yeah.
It's because it's like a couple people played that at one point in the old meta. and now it's like a staple for some reason when it
Ugh.
shouldn't be.
Ugh.
Yeah, but anyways, thank you for doing a nice interview with us and just having a fun chat, Mr. Owl.
Yeah, thanks for streaming.
No problem.
That was a lot of fun. Thank you for bringing Control Priest, because
Yeah,
I haven't
thank
gotten
you.
to cast a game of that in forever.
Yeah, both of you. It was actually interesting to see obviously we didn't get to see Itachi play it, but got to see one match of it, and that was good enough. Oh, okay. So that is going to do it for this episode of Thursday Throwdown. I want to thank Itachi and Nice Jewish Owl for coming on stream and playing, and Heatshock and Ufric for casting. That's always a pleasure. And we will be back maybe this weekend with some more matches. I don't think there's anything set in stone yet, but just keep looking out in content announcements and in the Discord events on our Discord, on our Team Hearth League Discord. Looks like we have some events already planned, but that's for next week and the weekend. Next thing that is guaranteed is the set review on the 5th of December, which is Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have Lotus Knight and other people doing a set review for Fractured and Alteric Valley. So that's going to be really interesting. So make sure you tune in for that. Perhaps we'll get some matches tomorrow or Saturday as well. But until then, stay safe and have a great evening, everybody.
Yeah, have a great night. It's fun to be here.
Have a good night, y'all.